One of the first objections from Muslim is Jesus never claimed to be God. He never said, I'm God, worship me. What is the answer to that?
You're demanding of me to show you where historical Jesus says, I am God in those exact words, or worship me in those exact words. And if I can't show you him saying it in those exact words, then that means Jesus never claimed to be God. Like, okay, let's take that argument and let's run with it. In the Quran, you believe in Jesus as the Messiah. They'll say yes. The virgin-born son of Mary, the apostle of Allah, the prophet of Allah, his word, the word of Allah that he sent down to Mary and a spirit from him. So then I say, okay, now I want you to show me from your Quran where Jesus says, I am the Messiah. You won't find it. I want you to show me from your Quran where Jesus says, I am the word of Allah that he cast down to Mary. You won't find it. I want you to show me where Jesus says, I am a spirit that came from Allah. If you can't show me Jesus saying those things, then that means Jesus denied being the Messiah, denied being the word of Allah cast down to Mary and a spirit from him. Therefore, the Quran is wrong. You can't believe it. So now you see why your argument proves too much? But then they'll come back and say, well, they don't need to say it. The Quran says it for them because it's a speech of Allah. I go, okay. So now you're using a different standard. Jesus doesn't need to say he's the Messiah for you to believe he's the Messiah. If the Quran says it's good enough, then why isn't it good enough for you that in the Bible, the apostles of Jesus worship him as God? God the Father glorifies him as God. Hebrews 1 verse 8. About the Son, the Father says, your throne, O God, is forever and ever. So here the Father glorifies Jesus as the God who rules forever. Jesus doesn't need to say, I am God, or worship me, for him to be worshipped as God, to be acknowledged as God, because God the Father calls him God. The apostles called him God. In John 20:28, and Thomas answered, my Lord and my God. Now, literally, if you look at the Greek, it's the Lord of me and the God of me. The Lord of me and the God of me. And Jesus didn't rebuke Thomas saying, hey, shame on you. He goes, Thomas, have you seen and believed? Blessed are those who do not see and yet believe. Believe what? That I am the risen Lord and God of all true believers. Jesus blesses that confession. So in blessing it, he's accepting that worship.